Oh, so hi, Katie here. Today I would like to talk about one of my hobbies. I'm teaching myself to draw and paint, mainly anime, but I'm also doing portraits and kind of just sketches and things. I'm just trying to improve my drawing. I started life drawing classes a while ago, and then the life drawing classes ended, but that's kind of where I'm coming from, like the background with my sort of hobby. So without further ado, I will just show you some examples of my paintings and drawings. So so I started anime. I'm trying to teach myself how to draw anime cartoons. I mean, this is something I've drawn here. It's like kind of, I've copied them, from other people's drawings. Well, I've kind of painted them and used my own colours and stuff. So so I'm just kind of trying different poses, as you can see. And I will pop that on there, so it's safe there. I'll take my water somewhere else in case I get all water over them. But I'll put my water there. So so that's one, and this is another anime one, especially for Valentine's Day. I don't know whether it'll be Valentine's Day when this video goes out, once I upload it. It's taking me ages to upload my videos at the moment. So I like to draw things, like sometimes I'll draw like if it's special occasions, or if it's like Christmas time and people's birthdays and things like that. So but I've kind of like when I'm feeling down, I was feeling really down when I drew that. So as you can see, it's somebody, well, if you can tell what it is, it's somebody crying. It's a woman crying, and that's actually, I felt really down when I painted that. But again, that's something I copied. I'm not clever enough to be able to do that by myself at the moment. So, and this one I called Up the Workers, which people quite liked. So this is kind of like an anime style, but more like a realistic anime style, as opposed to kind of, there are lots of different anime styles. I'm only just learning about it, but yeah, there are different styles of anime drawing or manga. I don't know the difference between anime and manga. If somebody can tell me what the difference is between anime and manga, please do, because I'm all for learning at the moment. So this is a cat girl. I did that recently. Again, something I copied, but I like the cat girl. I really, that's one of my favourite ones, and the Up the Workers one as well, with the woman in the dungarees. That's quite good. This is like one in a magenta dress. So I kind of got the neck a bit wrong because I put too much shade in, so it looks a bit weird. And then this other painting here, another anime one. So sometimes I go overboard on the backgrounds. She's kind of been out shopping, and she's got herself like a sort of drink of some sort. So I presume it's a non-alcoholic one. I don't know. It might be an alcoholic one. Or is it just me? So, maids. I love anime maids. I might get myself an anime maid costume. I might get into cosplay. But an anime maid there. So, yeah. Purple is actually one of my favourite colours. I did this for Halloween, so that was quite a challenging one because there are sort of cats there all sort of, kind of milling about, where the girl in the witch hat is sat. What's she doing? She's sewing a ghost. She's making a ghost kind of costume thing. So, but the cats, I'm really pleased about the way that I did the cats, because I think they kind of look really animated. Again, I copied it, but I did my own colours. Purple cats, why not? It's anime. So So yeah, so I don't only, I'm not only practicing anime, I'm also practicing just drawing generally and sketching. So one of the themes I was looking at was fashion, you know, kind of like just any fashion, historical costume even. So I started to look at the different decades, you know, and I did kind of decades like the 20s. I mean, I'm doing mostly, you know, sort of doing mostly women's fashion throughout the ages, but I have done some pictures of male fashion as well and clothing and stuff. So I am interested in history. So that's one of my kind of passions. I mean, I did sort of a few from like this era as well, kind of what we call a Regency in the UK, like Jane Austen type era. So that's a typical sort of gentleman of the period, you know, possibly, you know, could be a character out of a Jane Austen book, like Mr. Darcy or somebody, but yeah, so he's got his riding boots on and he's obviously calling on somebody, you know. It could be his, what would you say? He could be dating or whatever, his fiancée or his, you know, I don't know. But, and then here is like a kind of women's costume from the period. So it's not sort of, I mean, it's not kind of like that ornate. I mean, she's out walking and she's got like that, I guess that's the Victorian, the Regency era version of a handbag. So yeah, and she's got a cute little bonnet there, and I actually copied that from a photograph of a model wearing this costume, and I also I just put in all that other detail myself and put the house in as well because I thought it looked vaguely Regency. So I don't know, perhaps it does, perhaps it doesn't, you know, but I'm learning, so that's that's just kind of practice really. So I know that they're not perfect, but if I can just improve my drawing, then I'm going to be really happy. And like, because we've all been in lockdown for about a year now, and normally I'd be commuting back and forward to work, I use the time that I would normally kind of commute, you know, like in the evenings, like between 5:30 and kind of 7 o'clock to actually sort of do a little bit of drawing and stuff. I should do it every day really, but I don't. I'm not that disciplined. Cheerleaders, I love cheerleaders. This is kind of like a sort of movement, you know, it's kind of a study in movement. So we've got the pom-poms there and she's jumping mid-air, so that's like the classic cheerleader sort of pose really. So that's, yeah, that's another thing I'm looking at, trying to kind of get different poses right, you know, rather than do like a straight on pose where somebody's standing, you know. I wanted to kind of, you know, practice that and become familiar with that. I also looked at old paintings, like there's a few by Hogarth. Hogarth is a really good one to actually copy because there's so much going on in Hogarth's paintings. I mean, I was quite surprised, you know, once I started to draw, you know, bits of the paintings. Because originally I kind of set myself the goal of actually maybe taking a figure from a Hogarth painting and just kind of copying that, you know, to help me sort of practice movement and proportion and kind of anatomy and that type of thing. And but the trouble is, William Hogarth's paintings are so sort of kind of alive and animated that if you draw one figure, sometimes you have to draw several others just to sort of so that they actually make sense. So I mean, first of all, I went for the classic painting called Sharing the Member, which was about, I think it's called Sharing the Member. It's about a typical election scene in the mid 18th century and in Britain, and this is apparently it was the custom to carry the winning politician round in a chair after the election. elections were quite rowdy affairs in the 18th century. There was no secret ballot. There was no sort of, bribery was rampant and corruption and, and there wasn't any real police force, apart from individual forces like the Bow Street Runners, and that kind of thing, private sort of security really. So, that's kind of a scene from that, the actual kind of centerpiece of the actual scene, which is a scene of absolute chaos and like a riot where a fight breaks out between different sort of factions, political factions, and and that's where they're actually sort of cheering the winning sort of candidate in the election, I presume the local election, out in a sedan chair, and it's kind of so rowdy there that he's actually getting tossed out of the chair. So I would definitely recommend, if you're into art and you really want to get a lot out of old paintings, and you really want to appreciate them, say if you go to a museum or something, I would recommend to anybody go into a museum and sketch in, some things if you can in the museum, and sketching some of the paintings. You often see art students doing that, and now I understand why, because from doing that I learned so much about the actual painting, and I actually saw more when I did that than I hadn't seen before. So it's really good exercise in art appreciation. This is another one from Hogarth painting. It's actually a woman putting her stockings on, or taking them off, or taking her shoes off. So it's set in quite a rowdy environment in a bawdy 18th century tavern. It's like, again, I just felt compelled to draw the other figures in the scene as well. It's only a sketch and a lot of it's out of proportion, but it's good practice. It's all practice. So I not only copy from other people's work, but I've actually tried to do some work of my own, mainly portraits of people. Here is can you guess who this is? I don't know whether this looks like me or not, or whether it looks worse than me, or whether I've tried to flatter myself a little bit. You don't see any under eye circles really, so I kind of minimised those a bit, and I also minimised my chin, which I kind of maximised my chin, because my chin is non-existent. It goes down into my throat at the moment. It looks gross, but hopefully, as I said, I'm having a jaw realignment hopefully this year sometime, so that will be fixed, we hope, soon. So yeah, that's me. That's a portrait of me when my hair was a little bit longer with pigtails in. I've got sort of extensions in at the moment, clipping extensions. And here's a picture of my friend Chloe. So yeah, that's a picture of Chloe. So I've done a few pictures of Chloe. I've done one there. So yeah. So I just try to do my best really. Oops. That's another one of Chloe with her boyfriend. And here's another one of Chloe. So yeah, portraits I do, like portraits. I haven't got around to painting any portraits yet, but when I do paint, I use acrylics. Another thing I do as well is I like to kind of, although I copy a lot of other people's work, I kind of try and adapt it, and maybe even put captions to it, to make it relevant to how I'm feeling, or put like a kind of political slogan with it, if I want to do something that conveys a message to somebody, to everybody, hopefully. So, for instance, here we have a thing that I did a couple of months ago when I was in lockdown and I was feeling down. And that's basically how I feel inside, or how I feel, but how I want to feel. So it's like the difference between how I feel like inside, but how I actually really want to feel in real life, in my life. So yeah, that's kind of quite poignant for me, I mean, it's just a comment on how I feel, and I posted it on Facebook, and I think it struck quite it kind of like resonated with people, it struck a chord with people, because we're all feeling a bit at the moment, so yeah, so there's that. And this one here is trans rights are human rights. Well, obviously. So yeah, so that's self-explanatory really. Again, I copied the picture. I always use acrylics to paint. I love painting in acrylics. So I actually like painting model figures as well, and I've used acrylics quite a bit, so I've kind of managed to get a little bit of a feel for acrylics now. Although I don't do anything fancy, I just colour them in with acrylic paints, I'm using Daler and Rowney paints at the moment, so that's kind of like a step up from what I was using before. I was just getting stuff from the works and just using cheap acrylics. And it still had quite a pleasing result, but you can tell the difference when you use the Daler and Rowney acrylics. They're really sort of, obviously better quality. I believe it's down to the pigment quality. I'm no expert, this is just a hobby, but I believe that's why. And I like painting people I admire, like kind of celebrities and stuff. This isn't very good, but this is a picture of Taylor Swift. So I like Taylor Swift, I'm quite a fan. So yeah, that's Taylor Swift at one of her concerts, taken from a photograph of her. And also I paint like transgender people that I admire, like Sarah McBride, who's become the first transgender person to become a state senator. So here is Sarah McBride. So I've actually done the American flag in the background, but I tried to do transgender pride colours and kind of intermingle that with the American flag. So yeah, so that was just a tribute really to Sarah McBride, and I did actually kind of post it on a page, when I congratulated her. I sort of put it on there. I don't know whether she saw it, but I thought, yeah, it'd be nice, a kind of talking point, that she could see people over here in the UK are really pleased. The trans community is kind of like it's not only a milestone for the trans community in the USA, but I feel it's also a milestone for the trans community in America as well, in the rest of the world as well. So yeah, brilliant. So we need to get a transgender MP in the UK Parliament now, because so far we've not had one openly trans MP, so how the transphobes say that we control politics and we control the world is like a mystery, because there's actually there's never been a trans MP. I digress. This one is another anime. I used a kind of like purpley pink paint on her hair, and I'm really pleased with the result. I think I went a bit mad on the background, so the background is a bit overpowering, but the actual sort of hair, I like that, because the purpley pink paint actually has kind of like some kind of gloss effect in it, sparkly effect, and I thought that worked, better than I expected. And I put here, excluding people can hurt them, please be kind, and that's another theme in my kind of frustration and sadness I felt at the moment. You know, I felt a little bit isolated and excluded over lockdown because I live on my own, and I'm sort of, I just miss going out with my friends who are in another city, a lot of them. I've got friends in this city, but I just miss going out with my friends, period, you know, wherever they are. I mean, it's so sad. Zoom meetings are just not the same, I feel. Yeah, and yeah, as I said, I kind of like the political slogan, the kind of politics and stuff. I can like use drawings and cartoons to convey like political sort of how I feel about political things. So this one, she's had a go at me in the past, Posy Parker. So I think she's fair game now. And this is one here. Well, I don't know whether you can read it, but you know, she produces these t-shirts with adult human female on them. Well, I just wondered what would happen if somebody at the printers was pro-trans, you know, and sort of decided to put like a, you know, kind of satirical slogan on one of the t-shirts. And then how would Posy react? Well, she would say, "Hello, I'd like to complain to the manager about this latest batch of t-shirts I received," because she likes to complain to the manager. Ooh! So yeah. Anyway, I'll probably get into trouble with that one from people, so I don't know, maybe not, maybe they won't see this. But whenever I put Posy Parker in a title of my videos, or I put like a picture of Posy Parker, talk about her, I get a lot of abuse from her supporters, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm used to it now. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all, really. So, yeah, so that's my artwork, or my attempts at artwork. I mean, I don't sort of, you know, as I say, they're not perfect, but it just kind of keeps me going during lockdown. It just helps me to have a goal, you know, to kind of improve my drawing. I mean, I always start off in pencil, like this is one here that I haven't completed yet. So this is like a cat girl, an anime cat girl, but she's kind of yawning and she's sort of, you know, there in pencil, and then I go over it in ink, you know, with just a biro pen. I don't see if I can find any pens right to show you, but just an ordinary biro really. And then once I've done that, I paint them with acrylics. So yeah. So probably in my next video or in a future video, I am going to paint one of those drawings. So I won't actually do the drawing in the video because, like, if I know that the film camera's rolling, I will make a mess of it. I feel self-conscious. But I think I'm actually up to painting them. So, you know, I think that's quite chilled, because once that's done, you know, it's just a case of deciding which colours I want to do them. I don't really bother with shading that much. I'm not that advanced at the moment. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's it really. So, please do tell me what you think. It's, I mean, if your hobby is art and you have any tips for me, do let me know. You know, do let me know if you know, if how you think I could improve my drawings, you know, or even if you want to tell me that my drawings are rubbish, or you want to tell me which one is your favourite, you know. I mean, that please leave a comment below. And yeah, and thank you very much for watching my video, and I love you all, and see you next time. So, au revoir, bye.